Hi, everyone. It's me, Bill, your personal librarian, and this is In the Library. On today's episode, I'll be talking about Seb Falk's book, The Light Ages. It's all about science in the Middle Ages, or what used to be called the Dark Ages. So, come on in, take a seat, and let's turn some pages. So Seb's book is all about science in the Middle Ages. Seb is a lecturer and historian, particularly about ancient scientific instruments, but science in general, at Cambridge University in Cambridge, in the UK. And this book focuses on a particular subject, which is science in the Middle Ages. And it does that by way of looking at the life of a brother John, who was a Jesuit monk during that time, a real person that we know a lot about his life, not everything, of course, at this point, but a lot. And starts out by explaining that the Middle Ages, first of all, there was a lot of science being done. Then we call it the Dark Ages because it was sort of after the Greeks and Socrates and all those people, and there was a long period where it was seemingly quiet before the Renaissance started in the early 1400s. So there was about 1,000-year time in between there that we call the Dark Ages. And the truth is, there was a lot of science being done during that time. This book focuses on astronomy, which was a much studied field during that time and still today, of course. And it also focuses a little bit on a sister study called astrology. Seb doesn't give a lot of opinion on his personal feelings on astrology, but he does explain sort of the science behind astrology and how all of that came about. I'm not a big believer in astrology myself, but it was interesting to read the underpinnings of science that started out what became astrology. He also focuses on a lot of things like where our modern calendar came from, because that happened during this time. Even the switch from Roman numerals to Arabic numerals, which happened during that time. So that was really interesting, in how math developed as a result of these things. And a lot of science was being done in Europe, but we also forget that a lot of science was being done in Arabic countries. The actual word algebra is a Europeanized version of someone's name, and an Arabic person's name that developed the idea of algebra. So a lot of this is in here. It's a really good book. You learn a lot about not just the science of the time, but also how life was at the time. How different levels of people, what was available to them to use in their life. You have the monks, and you have the regular people, and you have the leadership and religion, the religious folks outside of the monks, and all of these kinds of people. So you get a real feel for what culture and life was like during the light ages, the dark ages, the middle ages. Seb, as I said, focuses mostly on astronomy. There is some mention of optics and medicine and other sciences in the chapter about the Crusades, because our brother John actually did go out and fight in a crusade. The Crusades were a religious war between the Catholics and the Arabs, and they happen time and time again during this time. It's about a 1,000-year period that we consider to be the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages. And these crusades happened again and again and again. So he did get into medicine and other sciences during the chapter about the Crusades. But mostly the book as a whole focuses on astronomy, which is great. It's a very, very interesting science. But I would like to have seen a little bit more about the other sciences and the work that was being done during this time in the other sciences. But that's really only my biggest quibble about the book. It doesn't lose a lot of points because of that, but it is something I would have liked to see. A big part of the book also is, since he is a historian of old, ancient scientific equipment and scientific implements, he does talk a lot about the astrolabe, which, if you can think of, he actually calls it in the book the smartphone of the time. You can tell the time, depending on how fancy your astrolabe is. You can tell the time, you can tell the date, positions of the stars, and the known planets of the time, and all kinds of astrological features. You could find them and calculate their position using the astrolabe. So that was pretty interesting. So overall, the book is really well written. I love science and I love history, so this is a good book for someone like me who loves both of those things. And I give the book an A-. Just a little bit of points off for focusing on one particular science and not letting us in on a lot of others. But it's still a really good read. So there you go. The Light Ages by Seb Falk. So next time, I'm going to be delving back into the very occasional series on keeping it simple, just quick hits and quick tips for writers. And that'll be on the next episode. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you, as always, to the First 10 Club, and keep on reading. Hey all, Editor Bill here. Seems our illustrious host forgot to tell you that to check out all the links in the description about the book and about Seb. He also forgot to tell you to like and subscribe and all the rest of that stuff. So if you could do that, that would be really appreciated. Okay, see you around.